Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, it's week 8 of the Alpha Reinforcing GT3 series here at FMA. This week, we head back to the land down under to Sandown, a track that, man, I can't remember the last time we've been here, but there it is there, Sandown International Motor Raceway in Springville, Australia, a short track, 1.94 miles in length, 13 turns. 77 degree is the track temp here this evening. A little bit of a toasty one, but welcome in. This is Racer Nexus. I'm Rob Campbell, and back in the booth with me, Mr. Richard Swindell. He's going to start a new streak here of not missing shows at FMA. Welcome in, Rich. Welcome into a track that I understand you just had to buy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chris Lashbrook. Chris Lashbrook's tonight's race sponsor, and cost me money, folks. I'm losing money on this deal, Rob.
He is. Speaking of Lashbrook, there you see he is round 8 sponsor, our resident Aussie, bringing us back to the land down under. Next week, we're going to head to Atlanta for round 9, brought to you by Adam Lowe. Then I believe Brands Hatch, we got Belle Isle for round 10, do a little street circuit racing. And then round 11, I'm going to have to change that up. I was reminded by Matt Mars, round 11 is not Brands Hatch. It has been switched up to Sebring. I believe that's going to be a rain race too as well. Then we're going to finish things up again back here in Australia, Rich, at Mount Panorama Bathurst to wrap up the season.
Oh, you know what? Bathurst in the ring would be pretty cool to finish the season, wouldn't it, Rob?
It might be an interesting one, Rich. I don't know how much the racers would enjoy it, but it could be a much carnage type race. But let's take a look at the format. Our drivers in the middle of qualifying right now. They got 3 laps of qualifying. They had 80 minutes of practice. That's done. 3 laps of qualifying. That's more or less done. We only got about 4 drivers on track still. It looks like potentially 32, 33 drivers in the session. 45-minute race as usual. Fixed setup, they can adjust the brake bias, and that's about it. 0 fast repairs, 20 incident points nets them a drive-through penalty. Each 10 incident points after that will net them another drive-through penalty. If you don't know much about Sandown, it is a tight confined track. Those 1x off tracks are going to add up fairly quick, so our drivers have to be mindful of that. 60% fuel load for the drivers on board here tonight, Rich. So we'll see some pit stops towards the back end of the race.
Yeah, I like that overhead shot you showed earlier. You can see it right here, the horse racing track on the infield. So kind of a unique facility. You don't really see a mixture of motorsports and horse racing all on the same grounds, so to speak.
Yeah, it's what do they call it? There's a name, something to do with horsepower in the name for Sandown. I would, if you would have asked me 10 minutes ago, it would have been right there, but now it's I've lost it, Rich. But as we see Matt Mars pull over, he's going to end up in his qualifying. Jacob Williams as well. Anthony Bronco has quit. Cody Deek looks like he's the last car currently running. Speaking of horses, he's got the Mustang and the horsepower of that Oath racing machine out on track, Rich. So he's brought the horsepower to the horse track.
There we go. That's what we like to see. Forget the prancing horse. Let's look at the big, beautiful Mustang of Cody Deek.
Liberal usage there by Deke heading into that corner. And I've raced here a number of times, Rich, and these curbs, They're kind of, we were at Zolder a few weeks back. Zolder's got those big curbs. Sandown have very large curbs here too as well, and not a whole lot of runoff. So our 30-plus cars on track heading into turn one, going to have to be mindful of those around them. It's going to be tight confines, at least for the first couple laps until things kind of spread out a little bit.
Yeah, and it's not a big track too, so I think as the race progresses, we're going to certainly run into issues, I think, with lap traffic for the leaders.
Yeah, it's going to be, they're going to have to pick and choose their points when they try and make the move around the lap traffic ahead of them. But that is it for qualifying here, Rich. Let's reset the grid here and take a look at how everybody's going to stack up tonight. Why don't you take us through the first 10 drivers?
Certainly. Well, look who's on pole, folks. The race sponsor himself, the man from down under, Chris Lashbrook. In second place, we have Mark Nelson. A great, strong effort there. Kyle Mavis is sitting third. Emmett Vestrella, a new racer here to FMA at fourth. We've got fifth, we got Anthony Jenkins at sixth, Jeremy Ashleman. Seventh place, we have Anthony Branco with Tony Sorrentino in eighth. Ninth place, we have Matt Mars, and in 10th, Jacob Williams.
Chase Masco going to start in 11th place, and Adam, hey, stepping on my toes there, Rich. Adam Brady in 12th, Nathan Fuller in 13th, with David Bush III hopping on over here to FMA to run a race in 14th place. 15th place is going to be Justin Moskowitz. With 16th is Brian Scott. 17th place, Nigel Steele. 18th place is the Big Cheese, Dustin Wells. They ran out the top 20. We're going to find Timothy Dunn and Ryder Poe.
And 21st, we've got Alexander Berger. In 22nd, we've got Aaron Stevens. In 23rd, we've got Paxton Frith. At 24th, Jody Nielsen. In 25th, we've got Joshua Dufresne. In 26th, Jibin Bajoy. On row 14th and 27th place, we got Justin Welsh with Cody Deek in 28th. And in row 15th, 29th place, Graham Connolly and Mark Ossier in 30th.
And then the last row on the field, PJ Wentline and Broughton Jones going to round out our 32-car grid. I guess we can say Graham Connolly, although he's moved out of Australia, is our second Aussie in the field here tonight, Rich.
Yeah, well, he is, but he's not the one who cost me money. And Graham, welcome. It's nice to see you back racing with us here at FMA, and nice to see you here. So yeah, I think he's got a little bit of a home country advantage based on his citizenship over the past however many years.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever spent so much time in Australia in a season as we have this one here, Rich, amongst all the GT3 racing that we cover here on Racers Nexus. But pace lap is underway here, and you can really see right now how tight this track is. We're heading into, I think that's turn 4. You can barely fit 2 GT3s through there.
You know, I'd be cutting and using some of the turf there on the horse track, and maybe trying to get myself a little bit of space, as long as the slowdown penalty wasn't too severe. But yeah, it's very, very narrow and very tight in a few places. Fortunately, they've got a couple of very long straightaways. They're like 900 meters and about almost a full kilometer. Or for those in Freedom units there, that's about 0.6 of a mile. So some fairly long straightaways to get some passing done, because once it gets tighter, it's going to be real difficult.
It is, as we see the drivers trying to get a little bit of heat in their tires. I'm having a look here. No Marshall Crocker tonight here, Rich, on the grid.
No, he's away. He's away. He's taking a vacation, I believe.
I don't quite have the points ready. We'll see if we can get them up on screen later, but he does come in leading the pro side of things, so potentially we could see things tightening up a little bit heading into next week when we head back stateside for Road Atlanta.
Yeah, well, thankfully, I believe there is a drop available to the drivers, so this will be Marshall's a drop week, and no doubt, because his performance this season has been pretty stellar. But you know what was really stellar there? Nice to see Mark Nelson up on the front row. Very impressive.
Yeah, excellent qualifying for him. I hopped in to have a look and see what was being discussed in the Discord in the chat for this race here tonight, and Mark Nelson was looking fairly confident in the chat, so not surprising to see him up there. We'll see if we can hold on to that spot, but there comes the field. Barney with the green flag in hand. I think he forgot to wave it as the crowd has gone by here. Looks like we're doing 2 pace laps here tonight, Rich.
Wow. You know.
Oh, there they go.
Wow, just a very late green. Barney waving the green flag after the cars are all past him. So going into corner 1, Chris Lashbrook getting away. Kyle Mavis jiving up the inside. Mark Nelson hugging corner to corner. Looks like, yeah, Kyle Mavis getting that job done. And Nelson back to third, but going back 2 by 2 through this little chicane section, getting very dangerous, Rob.
Yeah, Barney was asleep at the wheel, I guess, on that one. But you know who's not asleep at the wheel? Chris Lashbrook, our race sponsor, is still trying to get some heat in those tires here, Rich. Weaving on the back straight. He's opened up a gap over Kyle Mavis, has gotten around Mark Nelson. But you know what? It looks like, for the most part, Rich, the entire field got through fairly clean to start that one off. I was a little worried we were going to see some carnage here tonight, but nice to see that we got through that one fairly clean.
Yeah,
I say that. Tony Sorrentino falling down the grid here.
Oh, at least I'm not the commentator's curse here this evening. I think Joshua Dufresne also had some issues early on, but for the most part, a lot cleaner than I was expecting. But Tony Sorrentino back underway, just lost a bunch of positions. So Chris Lashbrook leading the charge. We're going on board here with Mark Nelson. Mark Nelson sitting in 3rd place. And right now, going through up into here, this corner 2 through. Oh, wow!
Wow, what a snap hook there by Vestrella. How he didn't clear anybody out on that, Rich, I have no idea. I thought for sure we are going to see Mark Nelson get cleared out by Vestrella, but well done to him not to hit anybody, but he's going to lose a ton of spots here. Down, again, to 15th place after starting in the top 5.
Yeah, that was scary for all the other drivers, but quite the same. Hey, David Bush III back with us. He's raced a couple times here at FMA. We also cover in other leagues. David Bush III in the Lambo, the pink or magenta Lambo, as always. Sitting there having a good little battle is David Bush III, but he's down 3 positions, 17th place, but hot on the heels of the other Lambo of Dustin Wells with his co-pilot, the Big Cheese.
Yeah, we got a number of Lambos in the field here tonight, Rich. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Lamborghini Huracans in the field here tonight. I think that'd be the
best selling car in the iRacing.
That might be the most we've seen in about 3 seasons here, Rich. Our lead Lambo, though, is Matt Mars, as we got a number of drivers shuffling around in behind. Oh, we got drivers around. We got Paxton Fritz is around. Alex Berger is around. Oh man. That Ferrari is a hurting unit. It looks like Paxton Fritz still trying to Austin Powers that thing back on track. But man, we'll take a look at what happened there in a few moments. But it looked like about 4 or 5, maybe even more cars got involved in that one.
Fortunately for Alexander Berger, Ferrari is a mid-engine car, not front engine, because there was no front left on it. Hey, look here, Matt Mars, and I'm not. Am I wrong? I'm not used to see him driving the Huracan. I've seen him. I don't remember what he was driving last week because I wasn't here. But
you know what, Rich? He drives the Huracan on the street circuits, and I guess, although it's not a street circuit, Sandown pretty tight and short, as if it was a street circuit. So, and we got a number of drivers in the Lambo. Maybe there's something to be said about that tonight.
Well, it's obviously got some decent pace. We've got not Mark Nelson. We've got several of them in the field. So take a look here at back of it, Jeremy Ashleman right now. So far, Jeremy Ashleman, what position is he in? I'm having problems finding him on my timing.
Ashleman's in 6th place.
Oh,
right
he's
in
in
front of
6th place, yeah. Yeah, geez, look at this. See, I forgot how to do it, folks. It's been a whole 2 weeks. So, Jeremy Ashleman holding up Matt Mars. Matt Mars taking a peek up ahead of them, Anthony Barranco. So, Barranco, just like that livery. That's just a nice color combination on Anthony Barranco's grid Ford Mustang. So, cars kind of nose to tail now at this stage, Rob. We've got Lashbrook, Mavis, Nell are kind of leaping out front. They got a 3.5 second lead over Mark Nelson, but Mark Nelson doing a good job, sitting 3rd overall still.
He does, and as they cross the line, Kyle Mavis going to put in the quickest lap of the race. He has now caught up to the back of Lashbrook, those two Mustangs. I said it before, Rich, I don't want to keep saying it, but they've brought the racehorses to the racetrack here in those Mustangs. And you know what? Generally, the Mustangs, you know, they don't like turning, but I guess speaking of not turning, Kyle Mavis going to tag that outside wall. That's going to give him a little bit of damage.
They're used to that.
Yeah, usually there's a crowd out there. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, the crowds are usually softer to hit than the concrete, but or the hardcore barriers. But wow, here we go with Nathan Fuller. Look at this little battle here, folks. This is what we like seeing. Nathan Fuller. Is that? Oh my goodness! Look at that. Oh, using all those curbing. Cars getting up on two wheels, just jumping in the air. You weren't kidding when you said those curbs are pretty big.
Yeah, they're you got to have a car that really accepts ramming the curbs, and you know what? I don't necessarily think the McLaren is all that content with curb hopping here, Rich. So we'll have to keep an eye on how Chase Matsko, Jeremy Eshelman, Timothy Dunn, and a number of the other McLaren drivers do here tonight versus the Mustang. You know, the Mustang is so, as you mentioned, so accustomed to hopping over curbs and terrorizing crowds that it's second nature to those drivers.
That's for sure. But Chase Matsko so far up 5 positions, and Nathan Fuller in behind him up 6 positions. So both these drivers are doing quite well on the curbing, whether you're in your McLaren, whether you're in a Mustang, and kind of 3 seconds back from Barranco and leading a big long train of cars behind them.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on them. We got some battles a little farther back in the pack here, though, Rich. We got Ryder Poe as he's looking up on the inside of Adam Brady. It's just, you know what? Let's see if we can hop on board with. Oh, speaking of Brady, he's going to hop off a track there. He's got to get himself gathered back up back on track. But let's hop on board here with Chris Lashbrook as we go through a lap here with him. And we'll see how much curbing he uses here. It's the first corner here, you really don't want to get up on the curb, but this next section, turn 2, 3, 4, you really have to use the curb to get through here. It's just so narrow, you have to throw the car up on there. It's the only way to get through quickly. But at the end of the straight, keep an eye on it. It's kind of like a chicane, but kind of not. You basically try and shoot straight through in the middle of it, but if you get it wrong, Rich, and you get up on too much of that inside curb, we'll probably see here a number of times as the race goes on where a driver just could end up losing the car. It's going to bounce off these curbs, go sideways. So right here, pretty much a straight shot right through and then heavy onto the brakes. It's a little deceiving. It's you know, your depth of field is a little off there, that corner. It looks like it's a little farther away than it is. You really have to hammer on those brakes as you're heading over the curb, and it can get a little dicey. Ask me how I know. Ask me how many cars I've rear-ended through that section over my sim racing career here at iRacing.
Well, you know how many times I've done that, Rob? None. I've never rear-ended any cars here at Sandown because I've been perfect. I haven't even had an off-track or any other incidents because I've never actually been here. But that was a great lap of Chris Lashbrook and shows why he's in the lead. He's got over a 2-second lead now. We're going to go a little further back in the field to Timothy Dunn in 17th place. Following along in the McLaren of Dunn. Dunn following along behind Justin Moskowitz with David Bush III in behind him. Just up ahead of them, Brian Scott. So good battling up and down the track. Drivers starting to separate. We've got about 2/3 of the track with cars on it now, Rob. So it's just a matter of another few laps before we're going to start, the leaders are going to start coming up on the people in the back. Whoa, way in the back, using all the curb, all the runoff, but avoiding the wall was Justin Moskowitz.
Yeah, a little bit of a Code Brown moment there for him and the drivers around him. Timothy Dunn able to get by, but Bush the third unable to capitalize on that mistake. But they got Jibin Bajoy, another one of our Lambo drivers, sneaking up on the backside of them. The lone Canadian in the field here tonight without Marshall Crocker Jr., who has popped into chat. And he said he's going to be back next week to help along the Iron Horse boys. Looks like his girlfriend's birthday this week, so we'll give him a pass on that one, Rich.
No. I've never known a woman who wants to get older. You're just supposed to ignore it, Marshall. And whoa, as we look at this move, Anthony Jenkins sending it. Nice job by Anthony Jenkins. Just sending it on Anthony Barranco and getting through cleanly. So got that braking down right in the Ferrari. But like I was saying, Rob, if you just ignore the birthday and you don't count it, they don't age. So that should make her happier. Marshall, you got it all wrong. Speak from an old man. No, we miss you here. We look forward to seeing you next week, and we totally understand.
Yeah, I don't know any woman after about the age of 20 that really wants to celebrate birthday. Oh man, there goes Jenkins. Off. He just made that move on Bronco, and that section I was just talking about, Rich, that's where, you know, if you got to brake up on the curbs, and it can unsettle the car if you hit the curbs wrong. And we just saw that happen to Anthony Jenkins. I can guarantee you he won't be the last one that happens to, but a little bit of damage on the right front of that Ferrari shouldn't hamper him too much here. Sandown, not exactly a overly aero dependent track, but that's going to put him into the clutches of Ryder Poe just from behind.
Yeah, it was the aggression had paid off earlier, but didn't pay off there. But go back on, take a look at this replay. Just going in a little too hot and heavy, and yeah, the left front tire actually caught some of the grass, not only on the curb. And once there, not much you can do but hang on and hope for the best. So Jenkins hopefully getting a little bit of a recovery
Matt
going.
Mars.
So he was just using all the track and a little bit extra. Yeah, he kept her off the wall, so that was solid. I think we've seen half a dozen cars do that out here, and up on the curb, and whoa, power slide! Wow, great save there by Matt Mars.
Yeah, it was nice to know by him. He's going to pop right back in between Jenkins and Poe, but he had a nice run to go, and we'll see if he can recoup from that. But you know, things are starting to kick off here a little bit, Rich. A couple laps. I guess we're already into 11 laps into this race. Such a short track. I didn't realize how many laps we kicked off already, but drivers starting to get a little more comfortable, a little overconfident, we'll say, here on some of these curbs, and we're seeing what happens when that happens. And Vestralla, another driver who had an incident early on in that Mustang, he's looking to the inside of Mars. They almost come to blows. A little right side romance, as James Watkins would say here on Friday nights in the special stage action. But Vestralla going to make his way through. That's going to move Mars down another spot into 12th place. But we got battles up and down through the field here. Rich, Aaron Siemens and Justin Welsh battling out. Welsh up 6 spots from where he qualified, representing Team Kurt Bunchers, one of your favorite team names, Rich, currently in 21st place.
Yeah, it's a solid effort. We got a bunch of drivers up lots of positions. Ryder Poe's up 10. We've got Broughton Jones up 9. Jim Bajoy up 7. So lots of gains to be made here. And the drivers, the field is starting to spread out a fair amount now, with several off tracks, as we've seen, a couple of incidents. Still lots of close battling, but Chris Lashbrook well out in front. So a little further back, we're taking a look at Graham Connolly, the former Aussie. Well, I guess we're still an Aussie. Here he is. He's sitting in 26th place, up 3 positions, with PJ Wentline and Joshua Dufresne up behind him. Joshua having an issue, I believe, on lap 1. Dropped a few positions, but back underway and racing hard.
Yeah, Graham, he may be the former Aussie, but he's still got the Aussie paint scheme on that thing, Rich, with the yellow and green. So still representing the homeland, but let's head back up a little further in the field here. Mark Nelson with Chase Matz going behind. Those are 2 admin advantage drivers, teammates coming into this one. Nelson had that strong qualifying, started in the second spot on the front row, fell back a couple spots here into 4th place, so he's trying to recoup that. But Anthony Bronco, nice run for him. Last week's race sponsor with the gridseat.co team. Kind of interesting stuff if you're looking at potentially, I guess, purchasing yourself a seat in a real race car. You can do that there at gridseat.co. So it's I had a little look at the website last week. Interesting stuff. If you're looking for some nighttime reading, Rich, pop over and have a look at that. Maybe you can get yourself a seat to do some racing on Motorsport.
Oh, yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, I have been on Motorsport in my street car, but never in a race car. That would be quite the experience. Taking a look on board here, or looking at this little battle, I should say, between Brian Scott and Adam Brady up ahead. So these BMW Ford Mustang, nose to tail, And right now, that looks like the way they're going to say it. And I think what we're noticing, Rob, is these cars hugging those curves, going hard on the chicanes and whatnot. That's really the only way they're going to get any passing done. Is it? Oh, was sanding right up the outside. Maybe a little bit of a tap. Yeah, wow. And I think that's the only way they're passing around here is by kind of forcing moves, and that's causing a lot of these extra off tracks.
Brian Scott with the old rectal thermometer temperature test there on the back of Adam Brady almost cleared him off track.
Well,
a couple drivers into the pits here.
You know, Rob? It's the only way to get it accurate.
Yeah, we got a couple drivers into the pits, though. We've got Adam Brady, Anthony Jenkins in. They're going to peel off and get their stops done early on here, Rich. A couple drivers we've saw in and around some excitement. Speaking of another driver around excitement, Ryder Poe has gotten around Matt Mars. So you mentioned earlier, he's one of the biggest movers, Rich. He's got himself up 11 spots now and firmly in the top 10 in 9th place.
It's a very, very good job there by Ryder Poe. I wasn't here last week. The week before, he had a couple of issues, so nice to see him driving strongly here. And some great... Whoa, Matt Mars. Yes. This is what I'm talking about, Rob. Every time we get him coming in one of those corners, everybody's trying to brake as late as possible to gain advantage of the car ahead. And sometimes it's just a little too late. That didn't really gain Matt any advantage, but he's coming to the pits anyway.
Yeah, Matt Mars had enough excitement here for the first 15 laps. He's going to bail out and get a little service done on that one. Can't say I blame him all that much, Rich.
No, I definitely would be doing that myself, but not in the pits is his teammate Chase Matsko. Chase Matsko, he certainly had a great season thus far, and we've seen him up near the front, up on the podium, things we haven't seen in seasons gone by, but him and teammate Mark Nelson having a great race. Chase up 7 positions to 4th. Mark Nelson dropped 1 position. He's down to 5th, but look at these two guys go. Admin Advantage doing quite well this season overall.
Yeah, they've definitely got a strong hold on this race here tonight, Rich, but we'll see if still early on. We haven't hit halfway point, so anything can happen as we've seen so far. But, you know, our race sponsor, Lashbrook, putting in the work, continues to open up that gap for Mavis, who was challenging him a little bit, but Mavis falling back a little bit. We've got 3 Fords leading the way here now, Rich, as you can see there. Lashbrook already getting into the back half of the field as he's making his way around. I believe that's Alex Berger back on track after he got wrapped up in that wreck early on.
Yeah, that car looks a lot better now than it did earlier. Berger's car had no front end at all. And you can see now from the last shot that he now has one. So nice to see Alexander Berger back battling and racing again as we take a look at FR Racing's Adam Brady. Adam Brady in the Mustang. He's following Brian Scott, Amrit Vestrella, and Ryder Poe up ahead. So Brady right now just up 1 position, but so far so good. He's kept it all together. 11th place over. Oh, look at these. The Mustang just sliding all over, breaking real late. I mean, there's the concertina effect, folks. And then there's hold on, hold my beer, watch this. And we've seen a lot of those moments, but Adam Brady getting her slowed down, get himself right back in this mix here with Brian Scott, Amrit Vestrella, and Ryder Poe. So as they come around right now, they're coming up the backstretch and they're coming down the start-finish line. This is quite the incredible track. It's not used often. It's one I'd never seen really before today. I just looked at it for about an hour before we went live just to get familiar with it. And tight confines, but it's certainly demonstrated a lot of interesting racing and interesting turns. So there's the one corner here right now where they're at, where we've seen a lot of issues with cars going off track, just trying to carry as much speed as possible. In a lot of cases, too much speed, but so far so good. Adam Brady dropping back just a little bit, but I'm watching him. I expect to see him close right up under the brake and through the chicane section, and yeah, that's what we're gonna see, folks. That's really the place you gotta make your gains. Get late on the brakes, try and get early on the throttle, because passing's tough here. Continuing on, we're on lap 18. Lap
It's
18, Rob, 25 minutes still.
it's premium to make a move around here, Rich. Sorry, I was doing a little background work there, but I promised it earlier we'd take a look at the wreck that happened early on here, Rich. Let's see if I can get that queued up, see what happened. That was out of the final corner where I think we saw Alex Berger and Paxton Frith get wrapped up in that one. But let's take a look here on board here with Berger in the Ferrari. Let's see what he sees. Oh, it's the... Oh, man, things just, you saw how tight the track is. Everything's kind of closed up there. I think that was Jody Nielsen that he got wrapped up with and then just got tagged, and then Paxton Frith around. And I think that might have been Nigel Steele as well wrapped up in that one. So that was the big one from lap 1.
That was rather unfortunate because Berger is doing quite well in the season championship once again, but not going to be a race to remember for him through no fault of his own. But Amber Vestrala sitting 9th place overall. He's down 5 positions, but he's battling back from that earlier incident and starting to make up some gains there. Ryder Poe up ahead, so looks like that car came through relatively unscathed because his pace seems to be pretty decent now. As we saw, I believe it was lap 1 or 2 early on in the race, Vestrala fell way down the field and is battling back. So right now we've got Brian Scott in behind Vestrala, using all the curb and then a little bit more. And there we go. That's a big track layout there we've got. This is, no, big spin there. That was
Timothy
Dunn in the McLaren. Yeah, getting the back end come around there. That lets Bush the third get by, as well as a couple of other drivers.
Yeah, Timothy Dunn spinning around, Rich. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Folks.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we see
Don't give up your day or your night job there, Rob.
Anthony Sorrentino and David Bush III battling it out for 12th and 13th overall. It's also 7th and 8th place in class, but looks like things have calmed down here a little bit, Rich. While we have the little lull in the action, why don't we take a look at the championship standings coming to this one, as we kind of had to rush on late and didn't get a chance. But first off, let's take a look at the Pro Championships, where I mentioned Marshall Crocker Jr. was leading the way, 37 points over Alex Jacobson, with Anthony Jenkins, Ryder Poe, and Chase Matsko running out the top 5. Any of those drivers without a number board beside them are drivers who are not here this evening, so potentially a lot of points to be made up by the rest of the field, Rich, in the Pro class. How's things looking in Pro-Am?
In Pro-Am, well, no surprise here. Kyle Mavis is in the lead and having a great race. He's leading in class again tonight. Anthony Barranco, 41 points back. Jeremy Ashleman, he's 42 points back. Actually, Jeremy is here tonight, but Matt Mars is in 4th. He's another 36 points back. And Dustin Wells in 5th. So not a whole lot of change is going to happen here at the front, but I think we may have some interesting things happening in that close battle for second.
And over in AM class, Jacob Williams, who dominated the midpoint of the season, here's got himself 20 points over Alex Berger, but we saw a rough race here for Alex Berger. He's not going to be in the points hauling set of mind here. Rich, Justin Moskowitz, who we saw have an incident early on, he's fallen back a little bit too as well. Currently in 3rd place, Faraz Ibrahim and Aaron Siemens going to round out the top 5 in points. So that's how things were sitting coming into this one. As we've seen so far, things will be shaken up a little bit with some drivers having some I shouldn't say uneventful, very eventful races at this point.
Yeah, it's quite a number of drivers not here that we normally would see, so that is one of the issues when you get in the midpoint of the summer. People have things going on, so be a little bit of a shake-up. Just take a look. Yeah, well, you know, I'm just saying. Got back from mine, yesterday, as a matter of fact, but Justin Wells sitting in 20th place right now, up 7 positions. He's got that Nathan Fuller in behind. Is that Nathan Fuller? Sorry, Mark Ossier is. That was Justin Wells from Mark Ossier. And Richard is having issues tonight, Rob, but we're getting back, you know, to shake the rust off, the cobwebs off. Take a look at the is that the Harrods car of Mark Ossier? It is. Gotta love it. We don't show Mark as often as we should. Oh, Mark getting a little squirrely there, but managing to save it, and the McLaren keeps going underway, and Mark Ossier up 8 positions on the day.
And we'll go from our, now I'm not calling him the oldest in the league, Rich. This is what's been told to me by Matt Mars. Marc Ossier, the oldest driver in the league, to Ryder Poe, the youngest driver in the league. And we see a tale of a couple drivers with some nice races. Marc Ossier picked up 8 spots so far. Ryder Poe picked up 13 spots. So looks like you're at the extremities of the age group in the league here, Rich. You're having a good night. But Amrit Vestrala off track again. We saw him with some complications early on. He's going to call quits and tow it. So that's enough horsepower for that Mustang this evening.
Yeah, man, that's unfortunate. As far as I'm aware, it's his introduction to FMA, and he had a lot of pace. Just a couple of mistakes cost him dearly. So take a look here at the replay. Going in the corner, hit the oh yeah, oh, a little bit of a roller coaster ride. The same issue that we saw earlier. Those tires got high on the curbs all the way over, touched the grass, and then the car was just out of control. And unfortunately, that ends his evening. Take a look at Cody Deek. This Mustang, though, oh, big slide, and just barely brushes the wall. Should be no damage there.
Yeah, you can take the ponies to the horse track, Rich, but you can't make them run, as we've seen tonight. Chris Lashbrook, he's got plenty of ponies under his hood, though, as he's running away from Anthony Brown. Whoa, what happened to Kyle Mavis? Kyle Mavis has...
Did he come into the pits, mate? He's pitted.
He did.
Pitted,
okay,
right?
Sorry. I was worried I missed something, Rich. I was quickly scanning through the events to see if something happened to him, but yeah, you're right. He came into pit on lap 20, so about 3 laps ago, he finished off his pit stop. Looks like Maxco and Williams are in too as well for their pit stop. See a few more drivers. There goes Graham Conley. He's finished up his stop and heading back out. So we're past the midway point. Not surprising we're seeing more drivers come in.
No, not surprising at all. This race has actually gone on fairly quickly. I mean, they're turning a tremendous amount of laps, and we're looking at about 40 laps in this 45-minute race this evening. But those laps seem to be turning quite quickly. With like I said, we're 27 minutes in. Had lots of action, lots of passing, surprisingly, and wow, cars are spread out. There's not a blank section of track anywhere to be found. I mean, you've got maybe a couple hundred yards tops all the way around the racetrack. So passing from here on out and getting through lap traffic is going to be difficult, especially for Lashbrook as he's coming up Nigel Steele into Frey now.
Yeah, with what are we doing? Just over a minute 7 or so a lap for the quick guys. Those laps click off pretty quick, as we're going to see Adam Brady. He's going to come in to get his pit stop done. So that will have him clean and clear for the rest of the race. Jim Bajoy in behind Chase Matsko, who we saw in the pits to get his service done. He's going to come back out in 14th place. Bajoy still owes us a stop. Matt Mars, he's battling with Dustin Wells and the Big Cheese. A couple of our Lambos battling it out. Actually, we got Lambo in a row here on timing and scoring. Would have 4 in a row if it wasn't for Anthony Jenkins and the Ferrari kind of separating those 4 Lambos up. But see more and more drivers come in. Adam Brady, Timothy Dunn, Broughton Jones, Justin Moskowitz, they've all come in for their fuel stop. And our leader, Chris Lashbrook, going to bail out and come in to get his little splash of fuel. No tires needed here this evening. Sandown isn't all that abrasive. They're not going to use a ton of tire up here. The corners aren't all that high speed.
And most abrasiveness is from the curbs and from the walls, and the tires are doing okay. Hey, could we? Oh, there we go. Thanks. That's what I wanted to see anyway. We see Dustin Wells. I just saw a notice here tonight, Rob. That looks like the FAF Lamborghini. They are getting out of GT3 racing for next season in the Lambo. They will not be racing next season, but that's just a little real-life fact. But Matt Mars having a good battle there with Dustin Wells.
Yeah, they're going to focus more on running Mosport, putting some improvements into it, I guess. And I guess I read also as well, Chris Pfaff, his son, is big into karting. And because we've lost a number of the kart tracks around here in the last decade or so, Rich, they want to look at expanding, I guess, Mosport's kart presence. So I guess when you're doing all that, you don't have much time to do real racing, the real race team. But it's unfortunate to see...
or money.
It's unfortunate. Wow, they got lots of money. They own Porsche dealerships, Audi, BMW, whatever you want. He's got all kinds of money. Money's no object for the FAF Motors group.
I do know a couple guys on that race team who I've known for years from RC racing, and rather unfortunate. I'm assuming they're looking for employment, so I hope things go well for them. But back to live action here tonight at Sandown. Mark Nelson, and now sitting in 8th place. He's got his pit stop done. Lost a little bit of time to some others through pit strategy. He's sitting now 4th in class, but we still got the leaders. Actually, now everybody will have come in at this stage. So Mark Nelson sitting in 8th. And looking all over the back of Nathan Fuller, Nelson, and not too happy being 8th after the pace he's had earlier. Going up and around the outside, looking down the inside perhaps. No, right now, content to tuck it in. Just not long enough a straight. You have to make the move right at the end and make that late dive. Now Nelson pulls it out up to the inside. Doesn't have enough overlap, but he's going to send it in deep and late on the brakes, managing to avoid contact. Good job of driving by Nelson and Fuller. Each giving each other a little bit of space and living to fight another battle, another corner.
Yeah, Mark Nelson showing a ton of pace here tonight, but his pit stop. Looks like he was a couple seconds slower getting on and off pit road than a lot of the other drivers in the top 10, so that's probably what's moved him back a little bit here in the standings. I think last we checked in with him, Rich, he was sitting in 4th place, I think it was. So he's going to want to try and get around Nathan Fuller, but we got some battles a little farther back. We got Anthony Jenkins, who we saw have an issue in through this section here earlier on, had that little kiss on the wall, got himself back in and back out, but he is now right up on Brian Scott's tailpipe, trying to take away that 10th place position from him.
It's always nice watching Anthony Jenkins. He is never afraid to
Ryder Poe with a meatball
send it. Yeah, we'll have to take a look and see what it may have happened there later if we can take a look. But Jenkins, never afraid to get aggressive and try and make moves. He's the anti-Richard Swindell. See, if you take a look, he goes right, he goes left, and I'm more of a let me survive to the end and I'll get my places through attrition. But Jenkins always got the hammer down, ready to send it.
And I'm not seeing anything flagged here for Ryder Poe as far as an incident, Rich, so I'm not sure what happened there that got him the meatball flag, but we'll continue to look and see if we can find that out. But we got a battle here between Timothy Dunn, Matt Mars, and Dustin Wells in the Big Cheese. This trio now heads down the back stretch. We got 2 Lambos and a McLaren trying to use all the horsepower they can around the horse track. I wonder if there's some way you can wreck and actually end up onto the horse track, Rich.
Well, I can. I can wreck it. You just got to get it at the right angle. I mean, heck, Australia's, Bathurst used to have the big jump. I mean, sure, there's got to be a way. And what is it? Which Sonoma's got the drag strip, and so sure, there's got to be a way, Rob. But Timothy Dunn. 747 car of Timothy Dunn sitting in 16th place with Matt Mars ahead and Dustin Wells ahead of them. Dustin Wells and Matt Mars continuing to battle on, and Timothy Dunn looking to get in the mix.
Yeah, Dustin Wells has been holding off Matt Mars here for, I want to say probably 5-6 laps at this point in time, Rich. And Matt Mars, who we saw qualified up inside the top 10, had that incident. Well, I guess it doesn't necessarily. He had that power slide that he saved it, kept it off the wall, but unfortunately hasn't been able to recover at this point in time. Just not a whole lot of places to make an overtake here without the driver in front of you having a mistake, Rich.
No, it's, well, speaking of places to overtake, sometimes you just got to make your places, Rob. We take a look at Sorrentino. Oh, wow. Wow. Tony Sorrentino, Brian Scott, we've got Adam Brady, everybody battling, trying to shift positions. That didn't necessarily work out the best, but it sure is exciting to watch. I mean, we're sitting here, 34 minutes into this race, side-by-side action. Sorrentino to the outside, up in the inside is Adam Brady. And right in behind them, David Bush III. Hey, look at that, Mr. Producer Man, and called my number. On board with David Bush III following this train. I'm not calling it a train wreck yet, but man, this is some good, exciting, close racing with all the drivers not afraid to stick the nose in.
And it looks like Jenkins and Scott able to get through that section a little better than Brady, Sorrentino, and Bush. They've opened up a little bit of a gap here, but we saw Jenkins through this section before have a little bit of an adventure, so I wouldn't be surprised if that weighs in the back of his mind each time they come through there, Rich. It's, you know, it's hard. You have to be aggressive, but you have to be not overly aggressive because you don't want to have that happen again. So Jenkins right now in 9th place, still down 4 spots where he qualified. He'll be trying to pick off as many positions as he can as they're going to move by Graham Connolly on the inside there. But you know who's having a quiet day? We've talked about him here and there, Rich. Chase Matsko got himself up into 4th place now. He's only 4.5 seconds back of Anthony Barranco for potentially another podium here for Chase Matsko.
You know, I don't know what his name is this week, and I missed last week, but yeah, he's been solid, better than solid all season long. So nice to see the admin team having some good results. They're the people who put this all together for you folks. Mark Nelson, Chase Matsko, and of course Matt Mars, team admin advantage, and Chase Matsko certainly having a great season overall as we take Tony Sorrentino driving it up the inside. That's the only way you're making a pass here. Gonna get himself loose on the exit. David Bush III gonna go side by side action with Adam Brady. Bush III getting by, and now, wow, every single pass we see here, Rob, is something like that, because that seems to be the only way to make one stick.
Yeah, you really have to force the nose in there, but I think Adam Brady might have just bailed out, recognizing that those two drivers are in the pro class. He's in the pro-am class, so he's not necessarily battling them for points in the championship, but he is going to want it. Oh, man, there goes Jenkins off again. Oh, man, Anthony Jenkins is not going to be wanting to put some money on the ponies at the end of this race, and he is going to call it quits after that one, unfortunately for him. I did look like he touched any walls there, Rich, so I'm surprised he towed.
Yeah, I wonder if you could maybe get a quick replay at some point. But I was going to say, one thing with Anthony Jenkins, you said it may be in his back of his mind what happened earlier. And I was thinking, well, wow. I was thinking to myself, I don't think it is, because Anthony Jenkins only has one speed, and that's full speed. And he's more of a checkers or wreckers kind of driver. And that's a driver you want to watch if you're watching a broadcast, folks, because excitement. I mean, he may not win, but he's going to make it exciting, and unfortunately this was not one of the positive outcomes for him, but look forward to see what he can do next week as we take a look at our leader, Chris Lashbrook. Man, oh man, the guy put his money down, pulled money out of Richard's pocket, and has got himself a 15-second lead, folks. That's pretty tremendous. Nice job so far, Chris. He's got Bijan Bajoy up ahead, PJ Wentline, Moskowitz all up ahead of him, but so far he's negotiating traffic very strongly, and looks like he's just on easy street for the rest of this race.
Yeah, well, I guess we know why he picked this race to put it on the calendar, Rich. He's just dominating this one, but we got Marshall Crocker chiming in chat here. What's he say? History on the line. Whichever of Kyle or Anthony wins Pro-Am, so Kyle Mavis or Anthony Barranco, becomes the new all-time Pro-Am wins leader, and they're both on the same team, Iron Horse Motorsports. So a little bit of bragging rights.
He's making the assumption they're going to win.
A little bit of bragging rights, I guess, for those two drivers on the line, but they are, I guess, comfortably ahead of Jeremy Eschman in 3rd place. They've got, about 10 seconds for Mavis and 7 seconds for Barranco over Eschman, but as we've seen here tonight, nothing is set in stone.
You know, for somebody who's supposed to be celebrating his girlfriend's birthday, he sure has a lot to say and a lot of time. I mean, if you got that much time to be watching, you should be racing. Then again, I was hammering up on the chat last week, and I wasn't broadcasting, so I got no room to speak. To take a look at the live action of Dustin Wells. I just love that livery. Dustin Wells, sandwiched in between Timothy Dunn and Matt Mars. Matt Mars is really pushing. You see the back end of that Lambo getting up on the curbs, but managing to get the exit straight away. So, I mean, it says 39 minutes into this race, 3 cars battling for 13th, 14th, 15th. That's what you want to see in a race, folks. That is what you want to see, and that's what Sandown's given us.
It's a a bit of an eclectic track, Rich, but it's definitely brought excitement to the broadcast. Where there's some other tracks, Barcelona, I'm looking at you, where it's fairly uneventful anytime you race there, no matter what you race. But it's a challenge. It's a track that probably not many of these drivers knew this week as they're getting ready for it. Had to put in the time and the work to get the speed. But who we talked about Lashbrook being dominant, but let's take and shine a light on one of Mr. Marshall Crocker's teammates here right now, Jacob Williams. Oh, as we see, looks like, I'm not sure if that was Adam Brady in the background there, spinning Mustang it was, but Jacob Williams leading AM class. He is in 8th place overall, top spot in the AM class, came in leading the AM championship. 2nd place in class is Broughton Jones, who in his own respect up 16 spots from where he started, but he is in 16th place. That is 8 positions between those two drivers here, Rich. So Jacob Williams doing well tonight. Another one of those Lambo drivers.
Yeah, and Berner with his issues early is certainly Jacob Williams gonna strengthen his lead, assuming he finishes where he is now and manages to come through this cleanly. But the Lambo of the Iron Horse Motorsports, I'm just so confused, Rob. I'm so confused. But Williams having a phenomenal season, just phenomenal. I think. I mean, he got his first race victory, and then he decided, I'm just going to win them all.
Well, he didn't win last week. He had that streak broken. So Jacob Williams going to have to start a new streak here tonight, I guess, Rich. But
he wins when I'm here. That's all I got to say.
I omitted one of the other Canadians in the league too as well. Curtis Kinnicker made note in the chat here that he is at work. He's not out here this week. So only one of our 3 Canadians in the league showed up here tonight, Rich. One of them claims he's with his one of them claims he's with his girlfriend celebrating, but meanwhile he's in the chat. So maybe he hops in the chat when she goes to the washroom or something, Rich.
I'm not going to beat a dead horse any longer on that one, because I don't need Marshall getting angry at me, because he's one of us. He's a Racer Nexus alumni, so we'll leave that alone, and we look forward to seeing you back next week. Let's take a look at Brian Scott behind Jacob Williams with Tony Sorrentino, David Bush III. I mean, this is a good 4-car battle. On lap 37, we're going to go about 40, probably 40 based on the time left. We got 3 minutes left. Yeah, that's what the computers are guesstimating. That's what mine says. That's what Rob says. They got to be right, folks. But, wow, look at this great action here. Jacob Williams, Brian Scott, Tony Sorrentino, David Bush III, all nose to tail with just a couple of laps to go.
As they head down the backstretch here, any of these drivers going to try and make a move. See Scott, little tap of the brakes there as they head through, and then hammers onto the brakes. So we saw a number of drivers almost get kissed on the rear bumper, a number of drivers off into the kitty litter. All 4 of these drivers make it through. Oh, razzle dazzle there from Brian Scott to Jacob Williams. Oh, he does tag him. Our AM leader gets spun by Brian Scott. Oh, they're both around again. David Bush III comes to a stop. Jacob Williams having to back it out. He's going to have time to get himself back on track. He had a nice gap over Broughton Jones, but man, oh man, not what he wanted to have happen there.
No, not at all. But fortunately for him, he had a huge lead. And, I mean, that lead's dwindled a little bit, but let's take a look at this replay. Take a look at what's going on here. Jacob Williams. I mean, I think people are just trying to make moves, and there's only so much room. I almost look like a racing incident here, but we will not cast judgment. We're just going to take a look and see what goes on. But Jacob Williams is back underway. Up a little further up, Kyle Mavis now. Kyle Mavis. It's got Anthony Barranco closing right in on him, Rob.
Yeah, and that's apparently the battle for the most wins in Pro-Am class, but we'll see who comes out on top. But, going back to that incident between Williams and Brady, I think that was just Brady was feeling the pressure from Sorrentino and Bush behind, felt like he had to try and make something happen. But unfortunately, there just wasn't enough room there to stick the nose up the inside of that Lambo, and we saw what happened. But our leader, Chris Lashbrook, is on the back half of the lap here right now. A couple more corners to go for him. He'll be coming by to pick up the white flag this time by here, Rich. So if Anthony Bronco wants to try and get around Mavis to get himself that title of having the most wins in Pro-Am class, he's running out of time to do it.
You know, I'm wondering if Chris Lashbrook is going to get the white flag after he's at the end of the straightaway and well past Barney, much like they cut the green flag like that. That was so bizarre as we take a look at Lashbrook. Taking a look up the inside of Mars, saying, you know, I don't have to make the move right here. I've got myself, 19-second lead. That's a third of a lap, folks, at this track. That's basically a third of a lap he's got on the entire field. So, Lashbrook, there's something to be said for buying and paying for your victories. He sponsored the race, picked the track, and said, this is how you do it here, folks. This is my race, and I'm here to win it. Second is no bueno.
Well, he's lapped all the way up into, Matt Mars is 15th place, so he's lapped over half the field at this point in time, Rich, but he's only got a few more corners to go here. Chris Lashbrook will officially wrap up week 8 of this 12-week season. The race he sponsored, I guess that's the race you're supposed to win when you sponsor it. One more corner to go for him. There it is across the start-finish line. He's going to give the old razzle-dazzle to Barney. Let him know this is when you wave the checkered flag, Barney. Not when we're down into the first corner, but the battle for top spot in Pro-Am. They're heading into the final sector here. Kyle Mavis leading the way. Looks like he's going to be able to hold off Anthony Bronco. And according to Marshall Crocker Jr. in our stats department, that's going to give Kyle Mavis the honorary position of having the most wins all time in Pro-Am class. So nicely done for him. Chase Matsko going to come home second in Pro class. Jeremy Eschling going to round out the Pro-Am podium with Mark Nelson in the final step on the podium for Pro class. Probably not what he envisioned, Rich, but still nice race for him. Jacob Williams looks like he's still going to wrap up top spot in AM, although that incident cost him a couple positions, but still going to finish well ahead of second place Broughton Jones. There comes Jones now in the final sector.
Yeah, Broughton Jones sitting 14th overall second in class, so solid race for Broughton Jones. In behind him, we've got Matt Mars is coming up across this finish line here. Matt Mars had an adventure tonight, but managed to persevere and finish.
Yeah, he's going to finish up as the last car on the lead lap. Moskowitz, who finishes it. Oh, he's going to, he just rode off another Lambo.
Send it, baby.
It's one less car Pfaff Motorsports is going to be able to field now, Rich, that Mars has written it off. But Moskowitz finished up the lap before in third place in AM class, rounding out the podium for them. But that's going to wrap up the race here at Sandown. Rich, for your first trip to Sandown here, what were your overall thoughts? Oh, did we lose Rich Swindells? We did. He had to make a quick attention to something. So while he's doing that, let's take a look at the final results here. Let's start off with the Pro Class. We saw Chris Lashbrook wire-to-wire win for him in the race he sponsored ahead of Chase Matsko and Mark Nelson, the two Admin Advantage teammates. Anthony Sorrentino going to come home in fourth with David Bush III in fifth. Graham Connolly, Brian Scott, Anthony Jenkins, Ryder Poe, and Ambrit Vestrala going to round out the Pro field. Over in Pro-Am, Kyle Mavis wins it over his teammate Anthony Bronco by 7/10. Jeremy Eschman going to come home in third place with Nathan Fuller in fourth. Adam Brady going to round out the top five. Timothy Dunn in sixth with Dustin Wells, Matt Mars, Justin Welsh, Jody Nielsen, and Paxton Frith rounding out the class. Nielsen and Frith out early on from that incident we saw in the final corner. I think that was lap 2 or 3. And then in AM class, Jacob Williams going to put himself back up on the top step of the podium again as he wins over Broughton Jones and Justin Moskowitz. Jim and Bejoy going to come home in fourth, Mark Ossier in fifth, Cody Deek in sixth, Joshua Dufresne in seventh, and the last of our AM class drivers on the lead lap with Wentline, Siemens, Steely, and Berger out. Did not see the checkered flag for any of those drivers. So while we wait for the drivers to head to the interview room, we will I think we got Richard Swindells back in. So, Rich,
Yeah,
I'll ask you again. Your first race here at Sandown, you didn't get to see any horses run around on the horse track, but you saw a bunch of them run around on the racetrack itself. What were your first thoughts here of Sandown?
Well, for a $2 trifecta, it was it paid off really well, Rob. I don't know if the racing was that spectacular. The passing was tough, but the drivers were aggressive, and the curbing was biting, and we had close racing in the mid-pack all the way to the end. We had close racing for second and third overall. So, I'd call a broadcast here again, and I'd race at this track. It doesn't get used much, but I enjoyed it.
Well, on that note, let's bring in the race winner here, the guy that also sponsored the race, Chris Lashbrook, who's going to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Well, Chris Lashbrook, congratulations on making me open my wallet and opening up your wallet and coming out with a tremendous victory. Can you hear me, Chris?
Struggling to hear you guys. I think I've got an issue on my end here.
Okay,
just let me
can you hear me now,
for
Chris?
a second, guys. I might need to move to someone else while I fix it.
Okay.
Well,
we will
Chris
see
fixes his issue here. Let's see if we can bring, who else we got? We got Chase Matt. Let's bring in Chase Matz. I almost said Matsuko. Let's bring in Chase Matsuko to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Well, Mr. Matsuko, well, he already started. Now you're stuck with the Chase. Man, oh man. You've had a heck of a season this season. You must be pretty happy. Although you're not on the overall podium, you're certainly on the podium in class here. Second place in pro class, fourth overall. What do you attribute your success this season to?
Well, I think just McLaren's clicking with me for whatever reason, so just stick with that. And first non-Mustang, so I'll take that as an overall win today. But
we're covering it during the broadcast, and Rob was saying, the McLaren, it's not necessarily great on the bumps and the big curves, and lots of curves here, and Mustangs seem to be doing well, but we had McLaren's in fourth, McLaren in fifth. McLaren seemed to be doing all right here.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, this kind of place feels like it's older to me. Kind of the same rhythm, short, not a lot of track to work with, and that's just where I usually do well at. So, just fit in my driving style per se. Not so much the car, but just the track itself did.
Doing well per se is correct. I mean, you qualified 11th, you finished fourth. On a track that's tough to pass at, as we showed in the broadcast, almost all of the passes were people just sending it in deep. And was that really the only way to get by people here?
Yeah, I kind of had to do it, but I mean, I messed up my third qualifying lap. I think I had a 17.3 on tap, but I messed up on the downhill. So I had
sandbagging at Sandown, were you?
Yeah, it would have been, if I could qualify, I'd do a lot better for myself. Because I just cannot qualify this season. I make it way harder for myself to get up there. And I think I would have had something for Barenko and Mavis if I qualified better. Because I would have had to go through a lot more traffic than I did. But it'd be what it be. I'll still take a P2 overall, or in podium, in class, rather.
Oh, for sure. Well, congratulations, Chase. It's been a great season. And hopefully we get to see some more great results, maybe at Road Atlanta next week out of you. Anybody you'd like to thank or give a shout out to?
You guys are putting on a good broadcast, and Matt and Mark and everybody on the admin team for helping me out for making this all possible, and everybody for showing up and everybody watching.
All right. Well, congratulations. We'll see you next week.
All right. Sounds good.
That was our second place finisher in pro class, Chase Matsko. Let's bring back in Chris Lashbrook and see if he's got his bike issue fixed up. Chris, do you have a copy?
No, I don't think he hears us still.
Okay, we'll move him back out. We'll see if we can catch him a little later on. But let's bring in our third place finisher in pro class, Mark Nelson. Mark, you started up on the front row on the outside. Looks like things got a little elbows out early on. You fell back a little bit, but looks like you had to be really aggressive out there if you wanted to make any moves. Is that kind of how it felt from your seat?
Yeah, he had to really get off of corners really well. Yeah, like you said, I was trying to survive a couple late dive bombs there at the beginning, and just trying to have a good finish to a race that I started well, which was a total surprise to me. But I was just trying to stay in front of everyone because I knew if they got in front of me, it was going to be hard to get in front of them again.
Now, I had mentioned to Rich early on when we saw you qualified on second row, where I noticed a couple comments in the chat where it looks like you were feeling kind of confident coming into this track this week. Did you have much experience with SANDOWN before this week, or is this something you really had to go to school on and learn the track itself?
I had practiced it for 40 minutes before tonight.
Oh, jeez.
That's what I love to hear. The show up, to learn it, and go out there
Arrive and drive, baby.
Spank the rest of the field and put it on the front row.
I hate practicing. Just ask the people that know me. I hate practicing. I don't know how people spend hours doing it. I just don't have the patience for that. But I wanted to have a good run, finally get the chance to talk to you guys for once, and I only did it.
Hey, you're my new favorite driver now, Mark. That's my school of driving. Show up, arrive, and drive. But we head to Road Atlanta next week. How you feeling about heading back over stateside to do some racing?
I really like Road Atlanta. There's a couple corners there that tend to either slow me down or kill me. So if I can just keep myself in check, I think I'll have a good race.
Well, we wish the best to you heading forward into next week. Before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to, Mark, for this podium position?
Just my wife, Carissa, for her support and me doing this. And you guys, thank you.
Excellent stuff. Well, we appreciate it. Best of luck at Road Atlanta next week, Mark, and hopefully we're talking to you again. Take care.
I hope so too. See you guys.
Okay, that was our third place finisher in Pro Class. Let's hop over to the Pro-Am side of things. Rich will give Chris Flashbrook a little more time to see if we can figure out that issue. Let's bring in our race winner, Kyle Mavis, who, according to his teammate Marshall Crocker, is now the new all-time Pro-Am winner, or winningest driver in Pro-Am.
Congratulations, Kyle. It's a nice stat to hold and a solid effort tonight.
Yeah, no, it was a bit of a challenge. Never been on this course before. It's a, bull in a china shop. We tried the Ferrari out. Obviously, as you guys know, I've been doing really well with that car here this season. But boy, the curbs at Sandown just do not play well with that car and its ride height. So after some really sketchy practice runs, the team and we're all talking, and we decided, hey, we know that the Mustang's got a little extra ride heights, get a little extra clearance. Maybe we try it out, and we kind of have been the last couple weeks. And so we're able to find some real good pace, found out that, not only does it have the pace, but it's also very unfazed no matter kind of what you do to it. And so it was kind of the safe decision. So we made the switch this week and had one little spin there from some lap traffic, but recovered. And then Anthony and I sort of teamed up and drove a points race for the championship and, did a little bit of the Team Orange, team championship rules there, but worked out well for everybody.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, it's a big change going from the mid-engine Ferrari to the front-engine Mustang, but it certainly paid off. Now that you're the winningest driver in Pro-Am FMA history, how long do you think is next season going to be pro category for you? Right now, you're having a tremendous season.
I think the pro thing was wrapped up, after about week 3. The chatter already started early on that one. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to make it to Road Atlanta, which sucks because it's literally my home track. I'm about 40 minutes away from that, so won't be here next week. So going to be cheering the team on to the best of my abilities, but, hoping that Marshall's back and Jacob should be here. I think Anthony might also be missing it. So it's just, one of those deals. Sometimes work life and, playtime just don't quite cooperate. So we're going to miss the guys, but, we'll go ahead and circle around, get some early practice in for the week after, and come back strong.
That sounds good. Anybody you'd like to thank or give a shout out to besides the team there, Kyle?
Shout out to the league for putting up with everybody complaining about, putting 40 bulls in a china shop here this week. I know we were razzing the admins and, of course, Chris pretty hard for picking this one. Of course, the team for pushing it. That's good to hear. Want to thank the team for obviously pushing us. Jacob Williams is out there performing and driving his ass off all week in practice. I mean, he was pushing me even in practice before the race. He, had me one up until literally the last lap that we did in practice before we did qualifying today. So thank them for pushing us hard and making us do the best we can. And then, of course, for my family for, putting this on and letting me do this kind of stupid stuff on the weekend nights. So we appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And hopefully your week off and let you rest and recuperate and come back strong again.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Richard. Appreciate it.
So that was Kyle Mavis, our winner in Pro-Am class. I have confirmed that the audio issue has been fixed with Chris Lashbrook. So let's bring in our race winner as well as our race sponsor tonight, Chris Lashbrook. Chris, well, you did the thing. You sponsored the race, went out there, dominated it, won it wire to wire. Pretty much went the way you drew it up, I suspect.
Yeah, it was a perfect storm, mate. Yeah, sponsored the race, great car. Put it on pole and no Marshall tonight. So, yeah, everything was looking pretty strong leading into tonight. I just had to get it off the line there, just shrug off Kyle as best I can, have a clean pit stop and just bring it home. It was mostly a race against myself tonight. So yeah, that was nice to get one on the board after being so close for a few times. So yeah, really happy to tick off a win and get that monkey off my back.
Oh, for sure. And, just to let you know, Marshall Crocker was in chat watching the race the whole time. So you put the fear into him. He saw how you were able to dominate the race here at your home track at Sandown, Chris, and he'll be no doubt trying to go to school for Road Atlanta next week. But speaking of Road Atlanta, a drastically different track here than Sandown, although some of the curbs at Road Atlanta can bite just as much as they do here at Sandown. How are you feeling about heading into next week's race?
Yeah, Road Atlanta is actually a personal favourite of mine. Love that track. Love the first sector, the sequence of corners there. So I guess we'll see what happens. Mustang seems to be strong there. Well, I mean, it seems to be pretty strong everywhere at the moment, doesn't the car is pretty strong at the moment. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. Try bet on this week, but you can't get too keen knowing this league. I've had a win. I've had a couple DNFs taking out turn one this season. I've had every colour of the rainbow. So yeah, I won't hold my breath, but we'll just hope for a clean race next season. Yeah, I'll try hook on the tow bar to Marshall's car.
We've made a couple trips to the land down under already this season. We're going to wrap things up at Bathurst, it looks like, for round 12. So we'll make one more stop at your neck of the woods, potentially for another win here for you heading to that one. But before we let you go, Chris, anybody you want to give a shout out to that helped you get ready for this racer all season?
Just want to shout out to just the team, the FR racing crew. We've had a little up and down results this season, especially last week. That was one to forget. A lot of the guys had some technical issues, some incidents on track. So to bounce back this week and get a win for the guys, and I think Adam also had a pretty decent race tonight as well. That'll be a bit of a morale boost for us. So yeah, we'll see what next week brings, and hopefully keep it up.
Excellent stuff. Well, best of luck next week, Chris. We hope to see you battling at the front end again instead of getting cleared out into turn one on lap one. Take care.
No worries. We'll see what happens, mate. I won't hold my breath. Thank you. Cheers, guys. Appreciate it.
That was race winner Chris Lashbrook in the pro class as well as the overall. Let's bring in our second place finisher in Pro-Am class, Anthony Bronco, who's caught up with Richard Swindells.
Hey, Anthony, congratulations. Solid individual effort for you this evening and team effort as well.
Oh, absolutely. That one's for Marshall. Marshall, what's up, man? Glad you and your girl enjoyed the race. Hell of an effort from the team. Good job, Kyle. Good job, Jacob. He was in a great. He still got a strong finish, but good for him. We changed up the platforms. Everyone was giving us crap for running the OP Ferrari, so we just wiped the slate clean. Changed all, drove a car that we hadn't driven since last season. And Jacob, I don't know the last time you raced the Lambo, and bam, there it is.
Yeah, it was a solid effort. A little bit of team orders between you and Kyle, or were you guys battling pretty hard, or just trying to make sure the team finished where they finished?
A mix of both. Like, of course, we never want to have team contact. I had a poor qualifying, so essentially I was looking out for him strategy wise, and I saw Lashbrook maybe getting some traffic, so I was like, Kyle, pit, worst case scenario, the guys in front of you are going to pit in the next 4 to 5 laps. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because he got spun by another car, and he just barely stayed in front of me. But he had the pace over me tonight. And then at the end, it was just about just making sure we had enough of a gap back to Chase and company behind us. That way, traffic was kind of hard to pass at times. So by giving us that margin, we were able to, pick our spots when to really push through the traffic and, take our time and not risk a clumsy collision.
Well, we certainly had some great racing, team-wise and yourself. Next week, Road Atlanta, totally different track, but one that might be suited for the Mustang.
Oh, for sure. We'll see if we're back in the Ferrari or not. Actually, myself and Kyle will be both out next week, so Pro-Am is up for grabs. We've won 8 consecutive. Between me and Kyle, that's 2 1-2 finishes in a row. So somebody else will get a chance to win the Pro-Am class next week, but we'll have Marshall and Jacob, who I know will be itching to get back out there, and they'll both be having a strong race, I'm sure.
Well, we look forward to seeing you at Belle Isle then. Anybody you'd like to give thanks to or shout out to tonight, Anthony?
I mean, we already did our team leader. I'll give just Kyle once again, Jacob once again, just great races by everyone. Thanks, Matt, for the livery. We got the grid seat brand now on the Mustang. Looking forward to Belle Isle. Glad this one's over, and we'll see what happens in a couple weeks when we return.
Sounds good, and take care, and we will see you in 2 weeks at Belle Isle.
Hell yeah, guys, we'll be there.
That was their second place finisher in Pro-Am class, Anthony Bronco. Third place overall, so nice run for him. And then let's round out the podium positions here in Pro-Am class with Jeremy Eshelman, the man also a sponsor, the lead sponsor of the season with the Alpha Reinforcing GT3 series. Jeremy, got yourself final step on the Pro-Am podium, a solid top 10 finish. How familiar were you with Sandown before this week?
Absolute zero. Didn't even know the track existed.
So you're like Richard Swindells then, who had to buy the track before the broadcast here 10 minutes before. So how much time did you put into learning the track tonight? I know we talked to Mark Nelson. He didn't own the track either, showed up 40 minutes before the race, put in some practice, and he was ready to go.
I would say I put in my normal amount of practice, same as if I have the track or didn't already. I put in 2-3 hours of practice in a week. So some.
Well, you came in, you finished third in Pro-Am class. We're going to head to Road Atlanta next week, a track that should bode well for the McLaren. How confident you feeling heading in there?
Hope the car helps, because that's not one I'm really good at. I know that's a lot of people's favorites that have a lot of time on it. So I'm a little bit of disadvantage for my experience on that track.
He came in 1 point back of Bronco in the championship battle. He's going to pick up a couple points on you here, but you're still within shot here at a chance of Pro-Am. How are you feeling about your chances heading into the final few races of the season here?
I just see what happens. They've had a little bit more pace than I have, but this is the first I've been closer to them in a while. So I'm glad to actually have some pace, and qualifying really helped me tonight to even just have that shot to be up close to them. So that was a big perk to my race, was the starting spot tonight.
Before we let you go here, we'll get some shout outs for you, but if you want to give us a little rundown on Alpha Reinforcing again, as it's been a little while since we had you in the booth. And again, as I mentioned, you are the lead sponsor of the season here, so here's your chance to give a little blurb there about the company itself, Jeremy.
Yeah, we're an American company, work nationwide with rebar fabricators. So if anyone's out there that needs rebar shop drawings done, definitely reach out. We'll be glad to work with any new customers. You can reach out to I don't know if the link was in the YouTube or anything like that, but reach out to me or anyone that can get in touch with me. We'll be glad to help.
Excellent stuff. And well, we'll let you go and get ready for next week's session at Road Atlanta, Jeremy. Best of luck, and
then,
hopefully we see.
One thing, Dustin Wells wanted us, whoever got on the podium tonight, to call out that he has a new nephew. So congratulations to them, but he wanted that shout out.
Oh, excellent stuff. Well, congrats to them. Maybe another future racer here on the Threshold Motorsports team.
Yeah, maybe in a few years.
Take care, Jeremy, and best of luck next week.
Thank you.
There we go. And looks like we're going to round things out here with the man who's been dominant in AM class this season. He's starting a new streak here, but he's caught up with Richard Swindells.
Well, it sounds like you win when I'm here and you don't when I'm not. So I'm glad I'm here, Jacob. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sounds like you're my lucky charm, so you better be on these broadcasts from moving on out.
You know, the lap 37, the last couple of corners, did that must have given you a fright. You and Brian Scott got in the back of you a little bit, and you got spun around with David Bush third and others coming on you. But you built a good gap, and you didn't lose any positions in class. You must have sighed a breath of sigh of relief or whatever after that.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate that we got kind of tangled up in that final chicane, but you know, it's part of it. It's racing. You know, I'm not going to kind of sweat it. You know, like you said, I didn't lose any positions in class, so I guess it is what it is. I would have liked to finish that 8th position, because right now, you know, it's Alexander. I mean, he's definitely on top of me, and you know, he's second in our class, and so like every position counts in terms of points. So I would have liked that 8th position, but you know, it's I'll take 11th at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it certainly worked out. Alex, he had his issues early on with unfortunate other car coming on track, and him getting losing the front end of his Ferrari. So your points gap is going to increase by quite a bit, even with that little mishap at the end. But next week's Road at Atlanta. Totally a little different than what we've got here. How are you going to do there? You got much experience at Road Atlanta, Jacob?
So I raced it a couple times last season, and I think it's definitely not like SANDOWN, that's for sure. I feel like there's more opportunities to pass, and you know, and allow guys to pass cleanly. So we'll see how next week shapes up. But yeah, no, looking forward to it for sure.
No, excellent. Well, we're looking forward to seeing what you can do there. Any shout-outs tonight? The team did well. You did well. Let's hear you want to thank, because, man, that was a good performance.
Man, yeah, no, shout out to the Iron Horse boys. You know, we didn't have Marshall on the grid tonight. You know, he's hanging out with the girlfriend.
You don't need him.
He's hanging out on YouTube is what he's doing. Let's be honest here.
You hear that, Marshall? They don't need you. They don't.
No, we definitely need him. You know, I hope he's having a great time with his girlfriend and her family on their little vacation trip. He deserves it. You know, and again, shout out to Anthony, Kyle. You know, because I want to say. Kyle got second, and then Anthony finished P3 overall. So you know, they got the 1-2 for the Pro-Am class. So you know, that's pretty sweet. So it's going to be quite a few points on our side. So you know, shout out to those guys. And as always, I try to, you know, give credit where credit is due. You know, shout out to them for, you know, definitely coaching me up. And you know, this track in particular, you know, it was for sure one of my most difficult ones that I had to race. But you know, again, thanks to those guys. Thank you guys for putting on a heck of a broadcast. Thanks to the admins of FMA, you know, always for setting the standard, you know, for clean, hard racing. And then shout out to the missus for allowing me to do that this evening.
Well, Jacob, well said. And you had solid top 10 overall performance tonight. Looking forward to seeing what you do at Road Atlanta. You've had a stellar season. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Perfect. Appreciate you, gentlemen. Have a great week.
It was Jacob Williams placing himself back on the top of the AM podium, as we've seen him do so much this season here, Rich. But you know what? SANDOWN, it was a track, you know, I'm a little indifferent to before the race tonight. But you know what? I think I might have to move it a little farther up my list of tracks I enjoy broadcasting.
Time to redo version 2 there, version 2 of that video that you did. But yeah, it was surprisingly good from a broadcasting perspective, at least. Anyway.
Yeah, there was plenty of action, but you know what? It may not have been the most raciest track, but it definitely provided a lot of content, we'll say, for us to have a look at and kind of review. But Road Atlanta, another track that does just the same. track that all these drivers should know, probably one of the perennial tracks that pops up in almost every league, whether it's GT3 racing, open wheel racing, prototype racing. It does them all. So it's going to be an interesting one next week. I can't remember for racing more in the daytime or if it's like a sunset race. Sunset Road Atlanta is always a fun time, but we'll be back next week, same time, same place, where we will pick up round 9 of the 12 round season. We're getting down to the tail end of the season here, Rich, but for myself and Richard Swindell's in the booth, we'll catch you next week. Until then, bye for now.